He is now currently 14-1-1, coming off a big win this past weekend. He has 6 current KOs. He's a middleweight, a rising star at only 22 years old. Jahi Tucker. Jahi, I appreciate coming on today, man.
Nah, man, appreciate you having me.
Absolutely, man. So we got to get right to it in the very beginning now. You're coming off a win now. You're a couple of days removed from it. What's your thoughts? I'm sure you rewatched the film a little bit now. What's your thoughts on the fight overall?
It was a cool performance. I give it like a C plus.
Okay.
I felt like I could have got my man out of there. Just better punch placement, and just growing, keep continually getting better. But I'm just happy I got the win, and I'm ready for the next one.
So walk us through a little bit then. Obviously, it was a dominant performance. You had the win there. And like you said, there's obviously all the things you want to take away and improve on. Nobody's a perfect fighter overall. So when you look at it, and you said yourself kind of a middle grade, it was good. You got the job done. Wasn't per se the best performance in the world. Wasn't the worst performance in the world. What would you
Yeah.
say is the biggest thing you learned or took away from it?
Honestly, I just learned that to sometimes placing the punches a little bit better. You get what I'm trying to say? I felt like I was placing the punches well in spots, and other spots I didn't do so well. So, that's something I definitely will take away and go after my next camp. But I mean, I feel like going in there, I expected the win not to be dominant, though. Most of these guys really can't do anything with us in reality. It's just all about just me versus me getting better.
Definitely. And when you talk about your own style, I know you have a very, very unique fighting style. Some fans love it. Some fans aren't going to like it. It's just very, very unique. It's kind of new to you, and that's kind of the way you handle business there. So you got to kind of take me
Yeah.
through this a little bit then. Like what influences this? How did you even get this style to become part of your resume and arsenal?
It really just all about just practicing. I study grades. I study all types of different fighters, and I try to like mesh them together as much as
Okay.
I can. And still also remaining myself as an individual. It's just it just all comes together, and you learn off each fight. You gain more and more experience. You add new tricks to your toolbox.
So when you would say that the overall proponent, because I know a lot of it, you do fight more traditional. We've seen you go thug it out in some fights there where you get in the pocket and you exchange with some guys. And then we see more so what you did this past weekend. Obviously, you had the knockdowns. You still have some of those moments, but it was a lot more flash than this weekend, I'd say, than other fights we've seen. When you talk about the flashy component, how was that kind of brought into you? Where did you and when did you start developing that?
I feel like that's always been in me. It's just a performer in me. When I'm in the ring, I feel free, man. I'm having fun. I'm just going in there taking care of business. Pardon me.
Oh,
As
good.
we see.
Bless you,
But
man. No worries.
thank you. But yeah, just trying to give the fans a show, man, and just have fun.
When you're talking about fighting in Las Vegas, I know that's a dream for a lot of guys, and that was a fun card this past weekend. What's that like?
Man, it's just a blessing. A lot of guys, like you said, a lot of people wish they fight Las Vegas. It's a lot of people's dream to fight Las Vegas, and to not only be Las Vegas fighting on top ranked ESPN, it's always good. Um, like I said, man, I just love putting on a show for the fight fans. I know there's a lot of fight fans out in Vegas.
Now, I want to break down Troy Williamson a little bit more. We've seen him fight some other guys in your same weight class, guys that have been having successful careers overall, and he's put up good fights against them. And so he was a good next stepping stone for yourself. When you just evaluate fighting him, what was some of the things that you'd say impressed you about him? What were some of your takeaways against facing him?
He had a good motor. I studied him keenly before we fought him. Actually, I studied him keenly,
Okay.
and everything that I expected is everything that he brought to the table. Like great motor. He wasn't gonna stop fighting. Very durable. You know, but I already knew since I was like 17 I belonged on this level. Of course, when I was 17, I still had to tweak some things, and even now I still tweak some things. But
Yeah.
for the most part, I know I belong on this level, on this world level, and I just can't wait to just keep stepping on my opponents, keep taking dudes out, and grab that gold.
All right, so I have to ask you though, because you're now kind of settling in at 160. You're already 22 years old, obviously, so you still have room. It could possibly go up weight class in the future. But at this point in time, you've already fought 147, you fought 154. You kind of, like I said, seem to be kind of settling in at 160. Is this your weight class? Is this the weight class that you plan on sticking at for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, this is my weight class, 160. I feel like I said, I'm one of the best fighters in the world, and I can't wait to fight for the title, man. It's gonna be fun.
So you're still working your way up right there. What's next for you? What are some things that you have on your line? Is it going into fighting other guys, maybe the top 15 rankings on one of the different boards or commissions? Or what kind of is going through your brain right now? What's some of the fights that you want to see happening next?
Well, I'm just going to go in there and listen to my manager, Jay, listen to my promoter. Whoever they bring me, whatever they move me, I take my time and grow. You hear me?
Yeah, you're good now. You're good. Yep.
Yep. So I know, like, if they give me that call, like, hey, we need you to fight this top 10 dude, yo. We need you to fight the world champion. I know I'm ready, man. I just stay in the gym. I just keep working and keep getting better. That's all I really care about, man. And the wins is going to show for themselves. The fights is going to show for themselves.
Now, I'm not sure if you've heard about it yet, but there has been some things kind of coming together. It's going to be a middleweight tournament. I don't know if it's going to be based out there in Australia or where it's going to be based out right now, but there's currently already been some guys. Nikita Zhu's been a part of it. Michael Zaraf has been a part of it. Brock Jarvis will be a part of it now. It seems to be a lot of guys that's in that kind of range where you are. Guys are not necessarily the top champions currently, but guys are trying to work their way up. Is that something on your radar? Have you heard about that yet? Is that something you'd be interested in doing and partaking in?
I actually did hear about this tournament, but
Mhm.
I'm definitely interested. Like, yo, if I get that call, like, you're in the tournament, I'm there. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna show out, man. That would be lovely.
So basically, your goal overall is that you're ready to go whenever, wherever you want to fight.
Pardon me, what'd you say? I couldn't hear you on that one.
Yeah, yeah. So I said, pretty much your whole goal is you want to be able to fight whenever, wherever. Sounds like from what I'm hearing from you right now that you're pretty much of the mindset that you want to fight anywhere, anyone, wherever.
Oh yeah, man. You feel me? Once the numbers right, man, I take the challenge. I go out there because I'm 100% confident in my skills and I'm ready to put my skills on display.
So I know going back, I was researching. I saw you made a quote or comment a little bit ago. It was about a few months back, and you talked about Janibek. That seemed to be a guy you're looking at in terms of the champion right there. And in my opinion, right now, he's the best guy at 160 overall out of the champions. And so when you look at that guy, what about him is that something that's appealing to you? Like, why is that the guy that you seem to be having your eyes on, or at least you did have your eyes on?
Janibek is definitely the guy who I got my eyes on right now. You feel me? He's the top rank. I'm the top rank. He got belts, and I the easiest path as of now. Um, but yeah, man. Honestly, I'll fight any of the world champions, man. The Damas, Laura, Janibek. Janibek, of course, being the easiest path because he's the top rank
Makes
as
sense.
well. But I'll fight any one of these guys.
I want to also ask you about growing up a little bit because you being a New York guy, born in Brooklyn, moved to Long Island then when you were a teenager. Can you take us through your history a little bit about that? Is that what kind of grew the boxing into you, or when did you really start getting involved in love of boxing?
Well, you want to know, like, growing up, boxing has kind of just been it's just kind of just been a part of my life, since I was like 7. Even
Mhm.
before that, but formally, it really started when I was 7. It was always it kept me from being in a lot of trouble. It put me in the right place, let me meet a lot of people, and I just felt like it was my calling, man. It's just one of those things where sometimes you don't want to do it, but hey, man, I feel like it's just what I was put on the earth to do, you know. And being from Brooklyn, from a long line of like. Yeah, I got to see dudes like Danny Jacobs and Louis Collazo trading up close and personal while they were in the middle of their reigns. Even growing up sparring Africa, Richardson Hitchens, I grew up sparring Richardson Hitchens. Just Richard Comey, all these dudes. It's just in Brooklyn, it's just a different type of culture. And it just makes you want to be great. And then Long Island, it just showed me how much bigger the world was. Growing up in the inner city, moving to Long Island showed me how much bigger the world was, and it gave me like a broader perspective in terms of not just my professional career as a boxer, but just in life. You feel me? And that mindset right there helped kind of shape what you guys see today.
So when you were kind of growing up, now you said it's kind of been your boxing has already been part of your life since you were younger. When did you start to feel like, you know what, this is what I'm going to be great at? I have a chance to be really, really good. This is what my life's going to be about.
I feel like I really felt that way when I was probably about 16. That's when I was. Well, I would say probably like 14, 15, 16. Like that's when I really doubled down and you know. And I just felt like that's what it was. My Coach Kenny Woods, God rest his soul, he passed back in 2014. He would always tell me like, "Yo, you're gonna be like a world champion." Like he always seen potential in me before anybody else, and he kind of helped develop my love for the game. So when he passed, it was kind of one of those things where it was like, I can't let his life be in vain in a way. You feel me?
Hmm. Now you are only 22 years old. It just happened just January. You're 22 years old. You're young enough for a boxer, and you've already worked your way up a lot. So when you talk about the next stages for yourself, there's a lot on the table for yourself. I mentioned to already, but like, what do you see in your future? Like, let's say that at 1 year outline, what do you see in store for yourself in terms of how many fights, who you might want to go after? Like, what's the goals for you overall in this 22nd year of life?
Like when I look at it, I look at a lot of these future matches. Like as of right now, like, I do imagine soon I will touch my prime. And yeah, man, I'm ready to top the pound for pound list, man. It's just the first step is getting that belt. So I tend to try to take things one fight at a time, one step at a time. You feel me? But now I'm down for sure, man. If they call me tomorrow for a pound for pound level fight, I'm taking it. I'm training my ass off to win, no matter who it is.
So you still have a lot on the table. Like I said, you still are young, 22. You typically, your prime isn't until 25, 26, whatever it might be. What do you want to be able to add into your arsenal, add into your game? Or what do you think you still have kind of are missing yet that you could possibly add into your career as you continue to develop?
Adding to my game, by the time I'm like 25, 26, I feel like I'll be a little bit more seasoned. I'll gain more experience. And, time always tells all. As of right now, I feel like there's not nothing I'm not capable of doing in the ring. I
Sure.
probably want to be, just a little bit more put together, a little bit more sharper. And like I said, more seasoned, by then, hopefully, I already have a world championship or I've already or had a couple of them, But like I said, there's not really much that I can't do in a boxing ring.
Was a little bit obviously not necessarily just involving you right now, but when I look at the 160 weight class, there's three champions right now: Janibek, Adames, Laura. All of them could be interesting fights where I think we could possibly have an undisputed sometime in the near future. So if you're going to get in your matchmaking mind right now, is there a fight that you'd like to see, whether it be Janibek versus Adames or Laura Adames? Like, what's the type of fight you'd personally want to see if you could make anything at 160?
At 160, I'm going Laura versus Janet Beck. I
Hmm.
feel like that would be a really tough fight, really, for both guys. Both one guy being Cuban, one guy being Soviet. They both got that pedigree, that Olympic style. Um, I just feel like that's a tough fight for both guys. Laura's very sneaky, he's very powerful, very experienced. Janet Beck is slick too, and he's very powerful. So, I think that would be the fight.
Now, in terms of yourself, then, we know that you've got a long way of possibly getting other guys and on until you get the championship rate. Could be a couple of months, could be a year, whatever it might be. What's your personal idea? Like, obviously, you would want a world championship fight next that you talked about that. That would be your goal. But obviously, there could be a pathway. Like I said, right now, I'm thinking we're going to get unification in the near future. So it might be a year or so out till you get that opportunity. But
Yeah.
what's your timeline then? So what's something that you see realistic? Is it a guy, like I said, fighting top 15 possibly, a guy that's another young prospect? What's kind of the game plan, what you're looking for next?
Really, man, I just want to just keep getting better, man. Just keep faking these fights by fight. Because in reality, man, it's just hard for me to get fights. A lot of guys like they just they won't accept the fight. Their promoter won't accept the fight. They see it as a dangerous fight. So it's really looking like potentially another prospect could come in the mix if like it becomes something where a title eliminators involved.
Okay.
Um, or it could just be something to where it's like, yo, this guy's a top 15 guy. He's trying to defend the spot, and I gotta take him out. But ideally, it's really just about me. Just me getting better, me getting sharper, and just getting ready for the championship level. Because you know, no fight's the same, but it's always gonna be you versus you at the end of the day. And once you got the bag and the skills to take care of everybody, I feel like you'll never have a problem, no matter who's in front of you.
And there's actually a question I want to ask you, and obviously I just want to hear your opinion. I want to ask this because on your last fight, Timothy Bradley was talking about you a little bit, or quite a bit, obviously, during your duration of your fight, and he brought up one interesting point. He said he obviously would like to see you guys possibly add more people into your guys' camp, add more voices, add more minds. He said he's talked to you guys about that. Obviously, I'm not sure if that's occurred or not, if that conversation has happened, but
Yeah.
what's your thoughts on that? Is that something you and your camp are looking at doing, adding more voices in there, or what's your thoughts on that statement?
You know, a lot of voices were a lot of people, not with our team, but just even the outside guys, some of the bigger guys in the game. You feel me? Like there's people that give that send to come workers and stuff. Does they can see me come sharpen it up. My father, he just never has any issue. You know, some fighters, some coaches get with the fight, like you know, coaching a fighter, such and such. My father never had those type of problems. You know, we always agree not to open arms. You get what I'm saying? It's all about getting better. Nobody knows though. So that's definitely something that I would definitely implement it since you know, talking to him. And we just in general, we never really had that situation. A lot of the time, you know, I just trust my team, like because boxing is one of those games where you got to trust who you came through with. You know, you don't really I better terms on anybody. You know people, you don't know people. You know what I'm saying? So you just gotta just trust the team, trust how the guy can. And understand for me, I get being a leader within myself every time I step in the ring. It's gonna fall on me. So it's also me and staying coachable, being able to listen and learn from my mistakes, listen to criticisms from my father and from other coaches too. For me,
So you do talk about all the prospects out there right now. There's a
yeah,
lot of great prospects. There's tons of names we could say, but obviously for those in America, we obviously look at a lot of guys in the American states right now.
yeah.
You're part of that group. You're 22 years old. You're still considered a prospect, obviously. Where do you see yourself in comparison to some of the top prospects, and how do you view yourself in terms of a prospect out there?
Well, keep it a record with you. I feel like after the last fight, I kind of felt like I got rid of the prospect title only because my first 10 I got out of the way, you know, and that's
Hmm.
nice. The world so competitive at one point, being for top 10, and
Yep.
many people got did their thing. And I felt like it wasn't a challenge, you know, even go to the fight, like it wasn't down to it. It was also just going out there and proving it. It's not to everybody else, but to myself. And I feel like honestly, a lot of the prospects they, uh, you know, they're good fighters wouldn't be where they were if they didn't, if they weren't good fighters.
Yep.
But I don't feel like a lot of them are battle tested. I honestly don't feel like a lot of them can fuck with me. Yeah, a lot of dudes they can't fuck with me when it comes to this fighting stuff. And that's my honest opinion. And you know, I said before, only time will tell. I'm not really too much for like trash talking or like, you know, I kind of watch and I peep and I just kind of sharpen my game, see things that I do, and be like, "Dude, I'm nice, I got it better." For me,
Hmm.
and I can try this. It's all about me. Whenever I look, I got tunnel vision. You feel me? When they're doing this and doing that, like among the other things. You feel me?
Yeah, for sure. So when you, I guess the better question would be then, because you're kind of a good point there. Then obviously under 25 years old, I'd say if you talk about yourself in the under 25 group, because there's obviously a lot of guys. I know just on that card last weekend fighting, you had Abdullah Mason's obviously in that group. We have yourself in
Yeah,
that group. I know he's a little bit younger, but Kermel Moten, obviously, I think there's a big gap because he's only 18, 17, 18 years old right now. But like you're amongst those guys that are in the top, under 25 guys that people are excited for in the future then.
yeah.
And so I kind of want to ask you that question then, because so many people talk about you as this fun and exciting guy that's going to be a great factor in the future. How do you kind of take in that and say, you know what? Yes, I have all this attention. Yes, people are excited for me, but kind of like you said, keep that tunnel vision, stay locked in, and still pursue the goal.
You know, hey, you know, the praise is good, but when I go down to body fight for it, you know, only just ask for, you know, um, also just trying to get better, being the same type fight, but just getting my defense even better, you know, trying to grow and just become a better fighter, IQ wise. Still being able to put on the same size fight with just other dudes like Crawford, Canelo. They're still excellent, exciting fighters, but when it comes to the actual sport and the art of boxing, like top tier, you know, like I look at stuff like that. I try to limit myself. I told you,
Absolutely, man. Well, I got a couple more things before I let you go. One of which is that when you talk about upcoming fight, is there something that you want to do in the near future? Like, when's the next time we could possibly see you in the ring? Is that something early June? Comes on in the summer, earlier than that, later than that? What do you want to get? When do you want to get back in that ring?
Honestly, man, right now, I got a cool fight. I feel like it possibly something. I'm gonna take some time, heal up a little bit, watch the movie. But I think summertime is definitely what I'm looking for. And hopefully it's gonna be a big fight. Hopefully it's gonna be something that's gonna catch the crowd eye. And I can't wait to get back.
Absolutely, man. Well, the final question I was like wrapping up with each guy is talking about your legacy. And I know we've been talking about how young you are and all these things, and so you still got a long boxing career ahead of you. But when that day does come, you decide to step away from boxing. What is it you want to be remembered for? Like, what do you want your legacy to be?
I want to remember that one of the greatest fighters that my era. Uh, and just being remembered for always being the guy that got away from a challenge and to always come out on top. Being the best fighter of my era, honestly, that's my goal. And be recognized among some of the greatest middleweights of all time. Middleweights, light heavyweights, however high my weight goes. I just want to be remembered as one of the best.
So I know you just kind of hinted at something right there. You said light heavyweight could be in your future. Is that something I know obviously you don't know what's going to happen. Guys could have a lot of things go down in terms of how your body develops over the future. But
Yeah,
that would be two more weight classes going up. Obviously, you have 168 there. You got 175 plus then.
yeah.
Is that something you do see in your future then?
Yeah, definitely see that for sure. It also depends what the opportunity that I had at the moment.
Yeah.
But we take over 160, we can then take over 68. Who knows if it's going to make sense for 75 next time?
Absolutely, man. Well, I'm definitely appreciate taking time to come on today, man. I can't wait to see what guys got next for you, man. Keep doing your thing out there, Jahi.
Appreciate it. Have a good one. God bless.
You as well, man. God bless you, man. Talk to you later.